I wish I could have got. All right. So, my dearest friend Hilary has brought a bag of all the books.
Are we already filming?
Listen, I was trying to grab my reaction because I was not expecting. So we're gonna turn this around. All right, here are our books. Okay, so these are your suggestions?
Yes. Well,
Okay.
yeah, but we gotta talk about it, right?
Okay, yes, let's talk about
Hi, TikTok.
So this is Hilary.
Hi,
This
everybody.
is one of my great friends here at our workplace. Oh God, do we?
Are we allowed to
I don't know.
say? I mean, you're wearing the.
Don't.
Okay.
Okay.
The logo. Okay.
None of the statements that we make today is representative of our organization that we work at.
That.
There we go.
Woo!
You'll be so proud of me.
Yeah.
I read that email when they said
You did a great job.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So Rachel and I are both avid readers. We just read on different ends of the spectrum.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. So you know that I have not read a fiction book since high school.
Yeah, that hurts my feelings.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
I
I still
didn't
love
mean
you.
to. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings, but I have, and you know, I'm a big psychology nerd. So
Yes.
I've read all the instructional design books, the human behavior books, all the things. It's so interesting.
It's human behavior.
Well,
This is
true.
and sometimes dragons, but like it's just
Sometimes dragons.
it's all behavior.
That's
right?
true. It's all
Okay.
behavior.
Okay.
So you're verifying that yes,
Yes,
all
Rachel
the-
reads.
I do.
Rachel reads avidly. We're just trying to
Ease into-
expand
yes.
our boundaries.
Go into fiction.
Yes.
Yes, I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
So,
Woo!
all right. So, what are your recommendations, Hilary?
Okay, so I
to
brought
do
a
this right?
few different categories. For
Okay.
the record, I am a mostly fantasy girly.
Okay.
So that's what I typically read. I did bring a sci-fi option.
Okay.
And I brought different eras of fantasy.
different
So,
eras.
okay,
Okay, here
first,
we go.
the OG. Like,
The OG.
there is no, you can't, in my opinion, it's difficult to appreciate true fantasy without having, like, the foundational knowledge. It's kind of like for psychology, even though most of it's debunked. If you don't understand Freud,
Where it
you
started.
don't know where it builds up, right?
Where
It's harder.
where it built up.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So like, Jung built on that, and then you move into Maslow. Like it all
Yeah.
builds, right?
All
So
the
like
Greeks, yes.
you start with the original fantasy. So Tolkien took myth and turned it into what we conceive of the modern fantasy genre. Like he's
Okay.
the start. So like most of our fantasy
Learning
books.
something here. I
Yeah.
did not know that.
See, it's not just like read a book about fairies. Like there's stuff here.
Okay, so we're not reading a book about fairies.
Okay, well,
well,
yeah, there's no fairies in this.
there's no
but,
fairies, okay.
The Hobbit is where it all
So
starts.
I haven't seen
in
this
my
movie
opinion.
either.
Don't.
Oh.
Sorry, Peter Jackson. I do love your rendition of the Lord of the Rings, but The Hobbit.
Okay. The Hobbit.
Now you have to set your expectations. It was written for children, but
Okay.
it is an important foundational. It's foundational.
It's foundational.
Okay. All right, and then obviously the Lord of the Rings after that, but you start here. So if we're
Okay.
talking about like OG fantasy, this is it.
That's it. All
Like
right.
any famous person that you've heard about these days in high fantasy, like Robert Jordan, Brandon Sanderson, George R.R. Martin, all of it started here.
The Hobbit. Okay.
Yes. Okay, so now let's talk about like 70s, 80s
70s.
fantasy, okay?
Oh.
So I brought my particularly favorite author from that time period. This is Mercedes Lackey.
Oh.
She was also like she presented diverse perspectives and characters, which I really, really like. So Heirs of the Queen is like your strong female protagonist kind of situation, like a chosen one, kind of like, this is kind of where a lot of modern romantasy came out of this genre.
Okay, you said romantasy. Lisa said the same thing. Try to romantasy. So I never heard of that word before.
But in my opinion, if you don't have a foundation here and then go through this, like all of that is just, it will feel very shallow to you if you start there, but you got to have like the history. Okay, and then there's Magic Pond. I've never cried over a series more than I've cried over these books.
Oh, it's gonna make me cry.
It's queer, it's amazing, there's magic, you will bawl your eyes out. It's so good. It's so good. Do it. I did bring one that's not fantasy. So we'll go, okay, so back to myth.
Okay.
Right? So we have modern interpretations of myth. I'm only about 3/4 or a third of the way through Song of Achilles.
Okay.
I have cried. I have laughed. This is such a good interpretation of Greek mythology. It's really, really good. It's really good. You should read it.
Okay.
It's like history meets fantasy meets like historical fiction. Like it's really good. Also queer. Love this. Okay. This is modern fantasy.
Okay.
Not exactly romantasy. I didn't know what your TikTok vibe was. If we were spicy or not. So I brought 2 YA books that I thought were good. This is Witches Steeped in Gold. It's it's the start of a duology. Caribbean themed. There's magic. There are rivals. Trying to meet a common goal. Like, this is really, really good. I really loved this book. And then Cemetery Boys. It's based off of like Latin Mexican culture. Again, queer. Loved this story. Cried. Read this book. A lot of crying. There's a lot of crying. There's a lot of crying. Okay, so those are my fantasy recommendations. This is just laugh out loud funny. This isn't fantasy.
I feel like I heard this book.
The Winds Are Not. It's really, really funny. It's basically like Queen Elizabeth is like, and her corgis, and they're investigating. Like, it's so funny and cute, and like when you need a palate cleanser. So if you like read this book and cry your eyes out, read this one next. So this is I've read this several times now. I consider this my like reading slump buster. So like when I have a book hangover, like I read a book that's so good that I just don't know what to do with myself. I will pick this book up and then read it, and it will make me laugh, and then I can move on to the next like whatever. But this is also a series, and it's really cute.
All right.
Okay, I did bring one sci-fi book.
One sci-fi.
So Anne McCaffrey, she also wrote a really famous fantasy series called The Dragon Riders of Pern, but there is some like debate on whether or not that's a good series from a feminist perspective. So this, however, is her like foray into true sci-fi. It's called Freedom's Landing. There is some spiciness in it, so there's some spiciness in it.
Spicy.
But it's about like a strong female character. There's aliens. The love story is an alien love story. Ice Barbarians could never. Like, but it's like plot driven. So this is really, if you're like, this isn't so sci-fi that it's difficult to read. Like if you've heard of The Martian, like they made a movie out of it. Like it was good, but like some people were like, that's a really like it was technical. This isn't technical. It's sci-fi without. It's kind of like Star Wars versus Star Trek. Like this is light on the science, but still good book. Okay, that was a lot. Sorry, TikTok. How long are TikTok videos?
I don't know.
I'm not good at this.
But I love all the suggestions. These are great. So if you had to pick one, I know that's hard.
And you've never, that's hard.
I asked the question of what is a book that will make me feel like after I read it, like I definitely need to get back into fiction. Like this won me over. That's gonna win.
Song of Achilles.
Okay, that's the one.
Yes.
All right.
It's compelling. It's a good story. Like I'm only a little bit, but like my sister has read it all the way through. And if you are familiar with the myth of Achilles, you know already how it ends. So that might also help you because you know where you're going, which most of the time in nonfiction, I'm assuming like you can call out the conclusion before you get to the end of it because they're setting up a logical argument, right?
But the research can be fascinating that they come up with.
Sure. Yeah. If you want to read science, but like kind of, I would say knowing where a story is going for you would be helpful because you're not like, you will feel satisfied. You won't get to the end of it and you'll be like, what the heck? Like, how did we get here? Yeah, I would start here, especially because this is, if you read this as a child, like The Hobbit, it's nostalgic to go back to as an adult, but it's hard to read as an adult because you're trying to be like, well, this is a kid's book, right? So you have to kind of put yourself in that mindset, if that makes sense.
I'm not sure. Like, is it like, so if I'm thinking about it being a kid's book, is it like just...
You won't be challenged by the prose.
Oh, okay.
You won't be, like, it's not written at like.
It's not a difficult read.
No,
Way,
it is not a difficult read. It's formulaic, right? Well, I say that it was not formulaic when it was written. The formulas now are based off of this, right? So the formulas we have now for fantasy stories came out of this generation of literature, with, in my opinion, this being one of the first. So it will feel predictable.
Okay.
Because we live in a time where this was written, you know.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but this is where the formulas came from.
It's where it came from.
Yeah.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
All right. Well, thank you, Hilary.
You're
for
welcome.
Your suggestions.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna try my best. I'm definitely going to.
Woo. But this
read
one's
some
really
fiction.
good too.
Okay.
This one's really good too.
Well, apparently all of them are good.
They
that's why
are.
you brought them all.
Well, okay, but this is like this. It was very difficult for me to pick books this morning. Like I was like, because I wanted things to be representative of my bookshelf, but also like.
Hilary has an official library, like a stamp and everything.
I do.
I want to get on her level because that's like a real reader. Look at that. Look at that. You see it?
Are embossed for our library at home.
So fancy. Yeah. I love it. I love it so much. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, friend.
You're welcome.
I appreciate the suggestions.
You're welcome.
I'm going to pick a fiction book
You are.
This week. I
can borrow. I brought these in case you wanted to borrow one.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right.
Okay.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, everybody.